Hey, Packers have quietly been making some loud moves. What do I mean by that? Well, if you look at the Green Bay Packers and what they did or did not do this offseason, well, the Packers currently with three external signings this offseason, which is actually the fewest in the entire NFL. It's pretty quiet, but I think they made the right moves when you take a look at the strategic pieces and what they did, what they chose to do, and then where they stand cap space wise. We're going to take a look at that full picture here in a second. So you take a look at the signing of Aaron Banks. And, at first glance, when the Packers signed him to $77 million, nobody quite knew what was going to be guaranteed, not guaranteed. So the great news for the Packers is that they went out and signed Aaron Brooks, and they did it right. They did it the right way. Okay, so their other external signing, and now with Aaron Banks, we know that at first I was like, okay, why on earth did we do that? Why didn't we just go and get a true center? Why are we banking on Jenkins being a really good center out there? We know that Jenkins is solidified, proved himself as a really good guard in the NFL. And I think he's going to be a good center. I don't see how he doesn't. The Green Bay Packers are pretty strategic in the offensive linemen they get to be able to, play multiple positions out there on the field. So I'm I don't see why Jenkins isn't going to fare really well as a center. If he ends up panning out very well, he's going to be probably one of the better centers in the league. Okay, so then you've got Aaron Banks, although he's still growing, still maturing, still developing. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be able to capitalize on that. That being said, I think after taking a step back, I think this was a very good signing for the Green Bay Packers. And then you look at Nate Hobbs. Okay, so Nate Hobbs, although be it not the sexiest name out there, there were a lot of teams looking to trade for him a couple of years ago. That being said, the Green Bay Packers were able to capitalize that, only signing him to 4 years, $48 million. I think it was overall a very good signing. And then you got the Hardman signing. And now that we have been learning about his contract, max with incentives, the Packers are only going to be in $1.5 million with Hardman, and Hardman provides kind of that short-term interim solution that the Green Bay Packers are going to be needing in the speed category with the absence of Christian Watson out there. So I think Hardman is going to be able to do multiple things out there, especially when we start talking about special teams and giving a little bit of reprieve to Jaden Reed, all those type of guys. And then you look at the Jaire Alexander situation here. Okay, so the reason why I'm bringing up Jaire Alexander is because we're going to talk about the Packers cap space. So by releasing Jaire Alexander before June 1st, that would save roughly 6.9 in cap space, and the Packers would incur $18.1 million in dead money if they were to cut him before June 1st. Okay, so we know. And I know some people comment on the channel. They're like, why are you thinking that the Packers are going to be letting go of Jaire Alexander? Well, the writing is on the wall. Read some articles. It is certainly going to be a marriage that's going to end, and it's going to end this year. So it's either the Packers try to trade him and then they eat 18.1 in dead money, or, they choose to wait. And if they feel like they can't get some really good return on investment as far as draft capital goes, then they're going to be cutting him post June 1st and saving 17 million. But they would transfer that dead money into 2026, and that would be $8 million instead of 18.1. So the Green Bay Packers would certainly be in a better position financially if they were to cut ties with Jaire Alexander post June 1st. Okay, so as it sits right now, the Packers have $32 million in cap space. That's quite good. Okay, so that still leaves the Packers with, nearly $32 million, depending on what you read out there. And after they do their rookie signings and etc., all the projections out there, the Packers are going to still have $28 million in cap space. Okay, so some of you might be saying, okay, big whoop, the Packers have already passed up on a lot of free agent signings, but that's really good news for the Packers because that's going to carry into the next season if we don't spend it this season, and the Packers will be in a position to go out there and either restructure a deal or do something big. And the Packers, I think, are sitting pretty nice, pretty good overall when we start looking at the cap space where the Packers are currently sitting. If they're able to trade for somebody, they're going to be able to afford and take on and absorb a contract existing out there. So I think the Packers overall are going to be sitting quite nice. I want you guys to leave your comments and let me know your thoughts, but I think the Packers quietly making some loud moves, and that's the fact that They only made 3 off-season moves, which is super quiet, but they've got a lot of cap space yet, which is great news. Leave your comments, and as always, go Pack Go.